Hello, everyone. My name is Trish McCabe, and welcome to Conversations from the School of Hard Knocks. This is a podcast where people from all walks of life will be sharing their stories and the wisdom they have gained from their life experiences. In no way is this show offering any kind of advice or counsel. These conversations will be of a very sensitive nature, so please be respectful in your comments, and thank you for watching. Hello, everyone. My name is Trish, and welcome to Conversations from the School of Hard Knocks. Today, I have asked my friend Anna to come back and join me in the discussion. Our topic today is breaking down the experiences with a covert narcissist. We're going to discuss two scenarios. One in romantic relationship with a covert narcissist, and one when you're dealing with a coworker who's a covert narcissist. So welcome back, Anna. Hello.
Hello. It's always wonderful to be here.
Yay. Yes. I love digging in. I mean, this is what we do. And every time we talk, I lights me up. I know it sounds corny, but every time we talk, I get little nuggets of truth and aha moments of understanding.
Absolutely.
Dealing with the covert narcissist. I mean, they're very clever, hence
They're
the word
very clever.
covert.
Absolutely.
Yes. We had discussed talking about a scenario that actually involved both of us.
Yes.
When we met on Facebook a couple of years ago. And at the time I met you, I met another person that you had connected with. So I would befriended both of you and have had a friendship with both of you since then, until recently we had a bit of an incident happen. And I'm not sure where you want to start. So I think I'll just let you start that and we can just go from there. But we're going to start with the romantic situation.
Yes. The little bit of the backstory that I want to give everybody. I met this person and instantaneously connected with them. And we communicated for a very long time. We met on Facebook. We met in person about 3 different times. And we shared very intense feelings for each other. But it's been here probably the last, I'm going to say year, because about this time last year, we had disconnected. And we had disconnected for about 6 months. And when he reached back out to me the last time, which was in October, I knew that something was off, but I didn't know if it was off on my end or off on his end. And then we kind of segue into our situation that we encountered with him. When you first started doing the show, you had told me that he had volunteered himself to do the show with you, which I thought it was awesome. And I found out from you that he had volunteered me, which I didn't mind because I totally wanted to do the show with you. And then I'm going to let you take over from there.
Yeah. I thought about him because he shares a lot of great things. And I want to say to the viewers, this isn't about bad mouthing anybody or making anybody bad and wrong. It's more like behaviors that we learn and, just breaking it down. So anyways, I had asked him if he'd known anyone that would want to be on the podcast and talk about recovering from drug addiction or anything really. And he said, well, how about me? And I said, I would love that. And he goes, well, hey, what about Anna? Do you think she would want to do it with us? And that happened. And we started the three of us, communicate via text message in a group text. And he had agreed to do it. And then we didn't hear from him.
And to give a little bit of a timeline here, it started back around Christmas time when we all started communicating. I got sick. I got COVID, and we kind of put everything on pause. He had his personal situations that were going on. And when we all started kind of feeling like, hey, it's all going to kind of mesh together, that's when we started communicating. This was right after the first of the year that all of this kind of went down. I just kind of wanted to give everybody a timeline there. Go ahead.
Perfect. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So they can give an idea of just, the history and everything. So yeah, this was a couple of months ago when this particular thing happened. And then we didn't hear from him. And
Mhm.
it's like, then the next thing that happened was, you and I remember we were talking about, well, because of your experience with him, you're like, well, we got to handle this gingerly. We don't want to like push him. We don't want him to feel pressured. And I remember that we were going back and forth on how to handle it. So that's
Yeah.
something that's important to mention here. And we can come back to that in a little bit. But so then somehow we did end up communicating with them. And I'm trying to remember how it went down. Anyways, we asked him, and then he said yes, and then for a second time didn't hear back from him, and we're like, what's going on,
Yeah.
Anyways, at that point, I think that was when things got a little bit sticky, because I think you had realized that he was kind of giving me the runaround and not giving me a straight answer. And
Yeah.
the reason you were able to see that and more was because you had been experiencing this behavior from him of wanting to do something and then just not being around or not being available or whatever else he did.
Making excuses.
And you got mad. I remember you said, I'm really mad.
Oh, I did. I got really mad. I got really mad. And I got really mad because, I mean, this was something that was very important to you. And, I was working my own schedule around doing this with you because I knew it was important to you. I knew it was something that you wanted to do. And it's not just because it was something that you wanted to do, but it's important for us to get these messages out there. So it was something that was important to me too. And I got hopping mad, like I could have spit nails. And when I did finally hear from him, I pretty much told him, hey, because of this situation, I got to see what you've been doing to me this entire time. And I got to see it from a third party standpoint. This is not cool.
You were able to be objective.
Absolutely. And I cut communicating with him completely. I haven't talked to him since probably, we're just going to go ahead and say the first week in January. I haven't talked to him.
And so I think what came out of that was he replied with a few other things. And one of the things that makes it a covert thing is when you do call them on it, they tend to project or deflect, make it about you. Well, that's you. And I remember when you addressed this, I think it also opened up a conversation about your romantic relationship, from what I remember, with him.
Yes.
And it also brought to you some truths about yourself, about what you really wanted out of that relationship. And thus it prompted you to open up a conversation with him about that. And then it got real.
It did. It got real.
Yeah,
it really got heated. I'm not going to sit here and lie. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was mad, but I wasn't mad enough to the point where I was going to sit here and do character assassination, because I know just from my own personal experience, I've done it in the past. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the conversations that we had, unfortunately, he didn't like the outcome of it. My choice was to kind of take a step back. Hey, we need to figure out if this is what we really want. And we're not going to be able to do that with each other in our lives right now. You've got growing to do. I've got growing to do. How about we focus on our own separate growing, and we'll see what happens in the future. He didn't like that. And he immediately began throwing anything and everything that I had done in the past at me and turning the entire thing around. And just, I did tell him, hey, this situation brought a couple of things to light. It's not a lie. It's not pointing anything out. It's not being, it's pointing something out, but it's not, I wasn't pointing the finger. I even told him, I said, this right here woke me up to my own stuff. And he didn't like that.
What I remember about it as well is what it brought up was that you were realizing you wanted a commitment from him. You wanted
Yes.
a committed relationship. And it had become apparent to you that he was kind of dangling the carrot.
Yeah.
And when you tried to get him to tell you about what he wanted, he kept telling you that you were trying to control him. And all you really wanted was an answer. Look, are we on the same page here? I want a committed relationship with you. I want and I don't even committed.
I want a future.
What is the word? Not committed. It's that, just the two of you. There's a word that's escaping me. Just, you wanted. You didn't want to see anyone else. You just wanted to see him and build a relationship with him. And
absolutely.
A monogamous relationship, basically.
Yes.
And he just kept avoiding that and turning it around and bringing up different things that had nothing to do with it. Right.
I wound up asking him, so what, you're telling me that through all this, you've decided that you do want a relationship with me? So his response to that was, well, I was up until this happened. But thus point, you've been telling me that you weren't ready. Thus point, you've been telling me that there's too many things going on and right now is not the time.
That's great. And then he said it was until you did this, so that he doesn't have to be responsible, because he doesn't want to. But he's not going to say that. He's going to say, now I don't want to because of you.
Yeah.
And that just is that. And before the show, we talked about non-committal and ambiguity, that
yes,
they go hand in hand with the coverts. They evade any questions. They'll find some way around it. And I'd like to break this down more after the show. I'm sure we'll have more to say and how exactly they do that, what that actually looks like in just the deeper scenarios, the more personal conversations. But yes, I remember that part. And then what ended up happening is he said that to you, right? He said, it's now your fault. How did that end up playing out?
My exact response was, you know what? It was never me. You never chose me. You never wanted me. And I gave him specific reasons why he never did.
Well, the thing with the phone number and the goal that you found out about on Facebook.
Oh, through Facebook. Yes.
Through Facebook.
Yes.
Right.
And when I told him about it, when I called him on it, it was, well, it's my page. I would have told you eventually. I'm free to share whatever I want to. When at this point, I wasn't on Facebook and I was reactivating my Facebook to see if I felt like it was time for me to get back on. And this is the first thing that popped up. And I'm like, oh, okay.
And he didn't tell you about it.
He didn't tell me about it. And I had to call him on it. And this was shortly after we had gone down there. And by we, I mean me and my daughter had gone down there to see him the last time, which was in 2020, before all hell broke loose and COVID hit. But yeah, I just broke down a bunch of things and I pretty much just told him, I said, look, you know what? I'm still not saying never, but it ain't going to be like this. I just pretty much told him, I said, goodbye. And I wish you nothing but the best, nothing but happiness. And he replied back 2 separate times, and I didn't reply to him. And the first one was, I didn't even read all the message, and I'm not sad about it, or blah blah blah. When I know he read the message, he just didn't want me to play, didn't want me to know
Right.
he read the message. He wanted to deflect it. And then the other one was, you're going to find out that you're exactly like me eventually, and blah blah blah. Of course, like I said, I didn't respond to either one of those, and I haven't heard from him since.
One thing is when that happened,
I hit a nerve.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say I hit a nerve. That's why it happened the way it did. I hit a nerve, and he didn't want to admit it.
Yeah, you hit a truth.
Absolutely.
That's what happened, a truth about him and what was going on. And that's where I kind of got into this whole deal again. After that phone number thing and you guys ceased communication, he hit me up and asked me for your phone number. And I said I would have to ask you, and I did, and you said it was fine. And that got me involved.
Yeah.
Like now here's where my stuff comes into play. My part in this whole thing is I did not say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and give you this phone number. But in the meantime, and moving forward, please, I don't want to get involved.
Right.
I don't want, like, if you want her phone number, you might have to find another way or whatever. But I didn't do that. I didn't establish a boundary with keeping that, not getting in the middle, that awkward conflict of interest thing. I didn't address
Yeah.
it then because at that point it was becoming one. And he knew that. See, this is how they roll. They'll use somebody else even to,
You give them an inch, they'll take them
yeah,
all.
yeah, for whatever whatever it is they're after. And, because I didn't establish a boundary then, it was for him. He took it as it's okay to hit me up when he wants to talk about you at all. And it did open that door for me. And so after this thing happened with us possibly doing the show, and then you seen what he
Some
was
truths.
and how he was with me, showed some things about you. And then that whole thing went down. And you asked him, where do I stand and all that. And then you guys ceased communication. After that, he hit me up. And I still didn't put the boundary down, which I'm responsible for. He hit me up and wanted to tell his side of the story, knowing that I probably would more than likely be telling you that he's contacted me, thus getting to you through me. And they do this a lot. This is how they roll in a lot of ways. And more of that will come out as we cover this part of this topic. And so then he did that, and he spoke poorly of you. I won't get into particulars. It's not necessary. And I had to, stand back and kind of take that. And I'm like, okay, he's talking bad about my friend. Okay. But I'm going to try to have a compassionate view and be civil and all that. And he asked me, what I thought, or he was saying, well, I don't care what you think. Or while he's telling me he doesn't care what I think. Okay. And I was just like, you know what I think? I hope that you two work it out together. That's what I think. And I told him about my brother and everything. And I was like, I hope that, you figure this out for yourself, but I still didn't say, I would appreciate it though. However, moving forward, please don't contact me to talk about her because it's a conflict of interest and it makes me uncomfortable, but I didn't do that. So this is what happens when you don't even know what your boundaries are until they sneak up on you and you're like, oh my God, what have I done to myself? I've gotten myself in this mess. So then let's see, after that, about a week ago, he hit me up again. He proceeded to tell me he has a new phone number and he wanted to, this time it was different. It was one thing. Well, it doesn't matter. I won't get into that. But anyway, this time he was like a little bit more leaning on talking with you, obviously, because at the end he was asking me to please send his number to you,
Yeah.
asking me to forward it. So at this point, I did. I was like, you know what? It's time to just end this. Him involving me in what's going on with you guys. So that was when I very civilly said, you know, I'm just, I understand you guys are going through a hard time, but I'm feeling really uncomfortable. And I would just prefer not to talk about talk about her moving forward. And then it got into a little, he got upset. He didn't like that. He was like, you're asking, he tried to say that that was me. That's you. Well, yeah, it is me. I'm telling you what my boundary is.
Yeah.
Of course it's me. I'm telling you, this is making me uncomfortable. And I did say that. And he goes, what are you doing? Are you acting like I'm trying to come on to you? And I'm like, huh? No. And he knew. He knew it was a conflict of interest. He was using me to try to get to you. He knew that I was going to tell you that he had contacted me because we're close friends and I'm honest. And I wouldn't be like on the side talking with him and not tell you. That's not how I roll. I would tell you if he's contacting me because that's just the right thing to do, you know? And he knew that I would do that. And that's part of that covert sideways getting to you through somebody else, and covert
Yeah.
is how they roll. And so then he, you know, proceeded to, you know, say fuck you to me, pardon my French,
Yeah.
people, but he said that and I was like, whoop, nope, blocked him, number, Facebook, everything, because no, that's not acceptable. It was not an outlandish request to say, and anybody that's an adult,
Should
a
understand
mature
that.
adult knows
Yeah.
you shouldn't even do that. You know, it's a conflict of interest. You know, you're going to put that person on the spot, which is what he did. And I basically very nicely said, this is, you know, putting me in an awkward position. I don't want to be involved in whatever's going on with you guys. You know, I was
Yeah.
nice enough earlier and that's where I got myself into trouble. I won't do that again. I might do something different, but I learned that lesson.
You won't do that
So,
again.
you
Yeah.
know, no standing on a soapbox here. This is not about making people bad and wrong. It's like behaviors
No,
that we just need to change the
they
way
don't serve. Absolutely. They
they're
do not
destructive.
serve the benefit of society in general, humanity. They are
Yes.
destructive. And, you know, I do want to say this because I don't want everybody to think that I'm just pointing all the fingers at him. I had my fair share to play in all of the problems that ever happened between him and I. And I'm working on addressing those issues. And part of me addressing those issues is choosing to walk away.
Something that came to my mind that I also too did is what we do. And I think I want to venture to say from our conversations, this is how we got here. We're empathic. We
Mhm.
don't want to do something to somebody that's been done to us to our detriment,
Absolutely.
to where we protect the perpetrator, you know,
More than we protect ourselves.
more than we leave ourselves open to be harmed.
Absolutely.
And that's where that Stockholm syndrome comes into play here. There's a bit of, there is not a
Yes.
bit, it's it is a very appropriate term to use with the covert narcissism and the
Absolutely.
codependence, the empath. And the empath, you know, they take that other person's stuff on, and the covert narcissist is happy to allow you to let you
Absolutely.
do that.
Absolutely. They will
Yeah.
have no problem with you taking on their stuff. They're like, yeah, have
And
it.
especially when you know what's going on in their life, you know they're going through a hard time. And of course, they're happy to lay
Yes.
that on thick, everything they're going through. And you're like, oh, you know, and you take that on and they see that and they're like, they gotcha. And that's how they continue. They continue with this way of operating
Absolutely.
with our
Absolutely. And,
kindness.
you know, the bad thing is looking back now, and we've talked about this quite a few times, this person could have continued to treat me this way for a while before I would have woken up to it. But it took this person doing something like this to my friend for me to go, wait a minute, hold up. This is not right. And that says a lot about me as a person. It rings true. I mean, codependency has always been my problem, and it rings very true. This particular situation makes that very coherent and right there in the forefront of my brain. It's, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I had to have.
Yes. Something that came to my mind was you had said that he used things that he learned about you and tried to use those against you to make it about you. And this is what they do. This is what the covert narcissists will do. They'll open up, be warm and loving, and you'll open up and tell them about your weaknesses, your fears, and even your strengths. And they will use those against you to their advantage, when they see an opening to continue.
And to your detriment, absolutely.
And to your detriment, and say you're the problem. And then they know you have low self-esteem based on the way we were raised and and being raised by covert narcissists.
Absolutely.
So they just go right for the
they go for the jugular.
They go for the jugular. I saw somebody talking about this yesterday. It just popped into my head. But yeah, they will do that. It was in a court situation, covert narcissism in the court system. And some of these therapists, I think it was a therapist, had said, what are your strengths and weaknesses during the whole trying to establish getting custody of their children. And it's like, no, they don't have a right to ask that. And you don't have to answer that question. But if you tell them that, they will use that information to sabotage you. Even if you tell them what their strengths are, they'll go for that too. And that's what they do. It's that covert. And it's always and this is that come here, go away cycle, which I want to do another segment on that and break that down.
Absolutely.
Is where they'll have you, they'll be just so engaging and loving, and you would never suspect in a million years, and get you to open up. And then later,
bam,
take what they learn and control you with it.
Absolutely. They hit you like a Mack truck. That's the easiest way to explain it, because in the beginning, you feel like, wham, I was hit with the Mack truck of love. And then
love bombing, they call it in
absolutely
the narcissist group. I mean, the love bombing.
And then I'm gonna say about 6 months to a year later is when everything kind of flips, and you're the one that is, I love you, and I want to build a life with you, just all this mushy gushy stuff. And they're like, this is moving too fast for me. Yeah,
distant. And then you think,
I don't have time for this.
Yes. What I do wrong?
Absolutely. Oh my God. I cannot tell you how many times during this relationship, and we've talked about this quite a few times, how many times during this relationship I made excuses. He's going through this. Oh, he's going through that. He's going through this. I said something wrong, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, when it should have been, so what if I said it wrong? I said it still. Let's talk about it. I'd rather say something wrong now, looking back.
Perfect.
I'd rather say something wrong and have an adult conversation about it, but get it out in the open.
Oh, I love this.
Then to stuff it down.
And the same thing with, there's a big thing online right now. People are talking about this, the difference between fight fire with fire and self-defense.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you have to defend yourself. And even if you do it wrong or sloppy, that is better than being quiet and allowing the abuse to continue.
Absolutely.
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 So good. Some good and solid stuff we're getting here.
I mean, I look back at it, and there were so many times that I myself should have gone, do what? What is happening here? What are we doing? but I didn't. And the reason I didn't,
Clarity.
yeah, I mean, hindsight is 2020. That is totally true.
So, yes.
Because I can look back at it now and I can sit here and I can see just exactly, even though I did not want to have a codependent relationship, it's exactly what I had. I don't know about on his end because I cannot speak for him or anything like that. But on my end, it was complete and utter codependency.
Yeah. Oh,
Because I mean, I just everything that we're trying not to do now, everything that we have learned about ourselves, everything that we are trying to help other people not to do, I was doing it. And I sit back here and I'm just like,
anything
Anna,
that comes to mind in particular? Things you not to do, like boundaries.
boundaries.
Something
You gotta
bothers
have
you and they say
boundaries.
something and it
Yes.
bothers you,
You have
say
to say something.
something. Because otherwise
Absolutely.
they're going to keep doing it. I mean, there's a lot of this going on in the groups, and I understand it's a process. You know, everybody's at different
It
levels of
is.
learning this stuff and unlearning the toxic their role in it. You got to get it out and
Absolutely. But
talk about it.
you have to say something because my
Yes.
biggest problem was not saying something. That was my biggest problem. Because I didn't I didn't want to say something to tick him off. I didn't want to say something to make him run away. I didn't want to say something to hurt his feelings.
Walking
I
around
didn't
on
want to,
eggshells.
that's exactly what I was doing. But what I should have been doing was, what does Anna need? Not what does this person need? What does Anna need? That's what I should have been asking. And I wasn't asking those questions for
And that's so
myself.
important. This is the thing, you know, so much in these groups, you know, they'll say, why does a narcissist do this? Why does a narcissist do that? And I'm like, the real question is why are you with them? Ask that
Wire.
question, really
Absolutely.
dig and go, look at how miserable you are. You're in a public forum talking about it. Not that I'm judging that and I'm not trying to dissuade it at all,
No.
but just that should show you something's wrong. You know, you're not happy.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you're
We as individuals, we have to care more about ourselves.
nobody's going to. And see, that's the thing.
Nobody's going to.
Yes.
When
And
we
that's
don't care enough about ourselves, we leave ourselves open for all of this. And we
yes.
leave ourselves open for this cycle to continue.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
know what?
We play a part in it and we're enabling,
Absolutely.
hence the enabling, excuse me, and allows it to
Absolutely.
continue. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And part of the reason why everything happened with us the way it did, I'm not even looking at his portion of it at this point. I'm not even commenting on his portion of it. I didn't stand up. I didn't say something. I didn't nip it in the bud. I didn't do what I knew deep down I needed to do to make a situation better.
Yes. And that's the part that's the most powerful part in all of this.
Absolutely.
You can't change people. And I see this all the time in the group. They say, you know, do they change? No. And
No,
that's irrelevant. The change has to come from yourself
you
because
want
you will
change, you got to
repeat it.
start with the man in the mirror. Absolutely. You
Yes.
want change, you got
Yes.
to start with the man in the mirror.
Because if you don't and he leaves you and you're alone, you'll pick another partner like that. You will.
The exact same person.
Yes.
It's inevitable. I've done it my entire life.
Oh, ditto. You know what I mean?
And even
Oh
when
my
I
God.
thought I was, even when I thought I wasn't picking another one that was exactly like every other man that I was picking, I did.
Me too.
And I did because I wasn't strong enough to see my own BS.
And
It's not.
you care more about what they think about you
Absolutely.
than you think about your own self. And if you're always looking, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? Oh my God, if I do this, they'll think this. If I do that, they'll think that.
You create the very thing that you are trying to avoid.
It's so true. And it's maddening. It's madness. It's a horrible cycle. Horrible cycle. And Oh,
At some point, we have to choose not to repeat the insanity. And you know what? With this entire situation, I have finally chosen not to repeat the insanity. I finally see through my bullshit.
and you know how you did that? And this is
And
something
I know
huge.
how I did it.
You have now, as mad as this whole thing that happened with him, with me, and you knowing about it. I mean, you've said a few times, God, I just, man, if I could, I would hit him up. But you know that's what he wants. See,
That's
that's
what
how
he
they
wants.
get you angry. They got you. Even in, and this is the most important part about how they will control you, is in your mind, is if you're mad even thinking about them, they win. They want space
Absolutely.
any way they can. And they know you're mad. They know that you're going to keep that in your soul and your spirit and thinking about it and everything they've done to you and da 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 da. They're happy that you're doing that. That's what they want.
When you
It's
can
not
flip it
wrong.
around and start paying attention to what it is that you did to perpetuate the cycle, that right there breaks the cycle.
You free
Because at that
yourself from
point,
it.
you free yourself because you stop focusing on what they did.
Yes.
Yes, what they did played a part in it. I'm not going to sit here and deny that, and I'm by no means condoning what that other person has done to anybody, whoever the other person is. I'm not condoning it. But we cannot control the actions of somebody else. All we can control is the action of ourselves. And when you start paying attention to your own cycles and your own actions,
And taking
that is when,
responsibility.
and taking responsibility for your own stuff, that is when you truly break the cycle. And that is when you truly free yourself from that entire situation. It's
Yes.
not easy.
And you
I
get a
will.
balanced ego, because the ego will
Absolutely.
go, what? It was my fault. And you'll get defensive. But when you can, swallow that pill, when you can really get real with
Absolutely.
that conversation of, I did do it to myself. And that's why I'm really mad, because I'm really just mad at myself. How did I allow
Absolutely.
this to happen to me? Wow. And then you really get mad, but you got to, once you can
You got to work
get,
through it. Yeah.
got to work through it. Once you can get past that part, then you know that you have the true power to change it, because you can remove yourself, you know,
Yeah.
from the whole thing. And that includes your thoughts. I mean, you and I have talked about this situation with a family member who, something that came into my mind is, they do this not just to keep you thinking about them. Like, this person in my family gave me some chairs when I wasn't home too, came here before I even moved into the house and put chairs on the porch. And every day when I would drive up, I'd see those chairs, I'd be fuming, because I knew it was disingenuous. And I was like, why are they doing this? Blah, blah, blah. Because they want me thinking about them. They want me to be mad.
Hmm.
They get their, I hate to say it, they get juice from it.
Yeah. They get their jollies, man. They
They
really
really enjoy
do.
it. It's a crazy thing, but they do. They know they're making you angry and they like that. So, you know what I did? I gave those chairs to a friend. Soon as I realized, oh my gosh. And then the next level for me that really freed me was thinking about them at all. I just don't block. Even if I'm talking about them, I block it and I'm done, and I say it and I'm done, and I don't let it go further than that, because that's how they get you. And I see this in the group a lot too. Vengeance. They get you mad enough that you want vengeance. The minute they have you retaliating,
Yeah.
who's
They
winning?
won. They
You're the
won.
one taking on the toxicity and now playing a
Absolutely.
part in it. And now it's got you, it's poisoned you. It's like a poison.
Absolutely. You are playing into the little circus, and they have given you all of their little crazy monkeys. And you're now, yes, flying monkeys. They're
And it
mine.
starts in the mind. Even if you're thinking about
Absolutely.
them, you're giving them power, and telepathically
Absolutely.
too. I think they even sense that you are. There's this a little bit of a knowing there. So
Oh, I
yeah,
won't argue that at all because this past whole week has shown that for me. Because I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I mean, yeah, I love the guy. I really do. And I have my days that I'm weak and I want to reach out to him. And I have those days that I want to, try to see if we could start over and start fresh and get a different ending. But after this last week, it's like nothing's changed.
And why would we want that?
Absolutely.
Why would we want
Why?
someone that's doing that, that
Absolutely.
still hasn't given you a straight answer? The only
No.
way that would work is if he showed up at your door. And even then, I mean, I don't know. Would you ever, if the trust isn't there, you're always going to be wondering. You're always going to be looking at his phone. You're going to be suspicious and
I will
not
be
able to
honest with you.
relax, you know?
I can never say never.
Well, you never can say
I'm
never.
just
Yes.
I'm just not that type of person to ever say never, but it would be a really long, long, long road before I would even ever truly be able to think about having any type of relationship with this person in the future.
To trust him.
Yeah,
That
because
trust. If you don't have that trust, I've been in this situation. I've been in a lot of romantic relationships where the partner cheated. Once they cheat, it's so you're the insecurity. You don't. There's no security. They've broken that security when they lie, and you catch them in it.
absolutely.
And then you're like, you don't know what to believe. It's.
And the bad thing is I still went back for more even after the phone situation.
Me too. I've been there.
It,
No judgment.
I mean, and trust me, I'm not even kicking myself at this point. And the reason I'm not kicking myself at this point is because I had to go through all of that to be standing here, right here, where I'm at with this peripheral vision that I have now, so to speak.
Mhm.
I had to go through these things. So I'm not angry about anything that I've gone through in my life. I'm thankful, even for the bad stuff. I'm thankful because my philosophy is I never lose. I either
I
win
love that.
or I learn, but I never lose.
As long as you are learning.
As long as you are learning,
And
yes.
you're breaking the cycles. And even if it's baby steps, one little bit at a time is progress. Every little
Baby
bit,
steps, sometimes baby steps are all you can do, but then there are other days that you're taking leaps and bounds, man. And then there are other days after you've had those big leaps and bounds that it's nothing but baby steps. My advice to everybody is don't get discouraged. Even if you don't think you're progressing, the moment you look back and you slap your forehead and go, what was I thinking? You made progress.
Yes. Yeah, I tell people all the time when they ask questions in the groups and stuff, am I crazy or da, 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 da? And I just say, the fact that you're asking the question is progress. Because you can't get the answer if you don't know what the question is. So it has to start with the question.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
And I mean, the thing of it is it's not even about the romantic relationships either. I mean,
yes, that comes
coworkers,
to the next subject on this
coworkers,
narcissism.
man,
You're dealing with one right
coworkers.
now.
I am still with the same company that I was with when we first started doing our first podcast, but I'm in a different position. And I've been in that position a few months. And in the beginning, this person seemed like a really fun person. However, I took the lessons that I learned from this other situation and my walls were up. So I kind of, just kind of sat back and I observed. This person complains all the time. And we actually don't converse anymore. After me being there a couple of months, we don't really converse anymore because this person has realized I'm not going to partake in the complaining. Yep, I understand.
And from one thing that you told me, talking shit about other people too.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
there's that. There is that. There's a lot of gossiping and talking shit. Um, and by no means am I trying to sit here and talk trash about somebody. I'm really not. Um, this person may be a fun person outside of work. This person may have a completely different personality outside of work, but I don't know this person outside of work. So all I can see is what I see. Um, the person takes on far too much so that this person has something to bitch about later on.
Ah, the
And
martyr, the martyr.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the person, and we talk about this a lot in the group, which I love, is giving me lots of things to talk about on the show. Examples, you know, the narcissist will say, "Look at everything I've done for you." They'll do all this stuff, and you'll, God, they're doing all this for me. Oh, they must love me. No, no, that ain't it. You can
yeah.
be sure they will hang it over your head later when it's convenient for them
Oh,
to make you
absolutely.
feel guilty and whatever else. So the martyr thing is very much a covert narcissist trait.
Absolutely.
Glad you mentioned that. Hmm.
Absolutely. And, there are aspects of my job that I didn't realize were my job because this other person has decided they're just going to do it.
Oh boy. Mm.
So,
So
yeah,
is this
it's,
person doing it and you're not asking them and they're just going ahead and doing it? Are they bringing it up yet? Or you're just noticing this?
I'm noticing this simply
Mhm.
because as I'm doing my job more, I'm learning more and more of what I should be doing to make my job easier. See, I'm all about working smarter, not harder. And if I don't get to do the full list of my duties to do, it makes it harder for me to go back and mark something as done because I have to go hunting for it.
The other part that just came to my mind is if this person is doing part of your job and they make a mistake, who gets held
Yeah.
accountable?
Yeah. See, that's also crossed my mind as well. Also
Mhm.
crossed my mind as well. Um,
Yeah. Been there and done that.
it's one of those that I'm covering my assets the best that I can. And it's one of those that I'm trying not to really open up to this person, to let this person see any aspects of me that could be used against me simply because
Mhm.
I already know how this person is going to work.
And this is the thing, you know, we've been taught, and I hear this a lot. And I even told my niece, she's like, so and so says I'm guarded. Damn straight. You better be guarded. Guarded is a
Absolutely.
good. We're taught, oh, you're too guarded. That's a good thing to be guarded for this very reason of these things we're talking about. Guarded is good. So I'm glad to hear that you're guarded.
When the first day this person made the comment, well, I want you to get to where you can open up to me. And at that point, I was like, I smell you.
Oh, yeah. Total
I
red
smell
flag.
you.
Love that. Sorry for my facial expression. I'm not gonna lie, it pisses me off. I
Yeah. I
you
mean, it's
know, it's
just,
been done to me so many times and apologize, viewers, but I gotta let it out. It makes me mad. They know exactly what they're doing to get you to open up. Why? Who are you? I don't even know you.
Yeah,
Why do I
it's
have
like
to tell you anything?
as soon as this person said that, I was like, oh yeah,
Red alert.
no.
Red alert.
But the good thing is if I hadn't have gone through what I just went through with the romantic relationship, I wouldn't have been able to see in this work relationship what I needed to see.
Ditto.
So that's, it's that whole I never lose, I either win or learn. So, you have to take what happens in other relationships or other situations and you can work them to any situation. And it's not in a negative way. It's just you can sit back, and if you just meet somebody and you just got out of a bad relationship and this person starts doing exactly what this other person is doing, you're going, oh, I smell you. This ain't, nope, stay over there. Don't come any closer. You can keep your walls up. You don't have to be an open book.
Another thing that they do is they'll say something like, why are you doing that? They'll question you try to get you to question yourself too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I bought breakfast for this person one day just because I'm that type of person. I don't care if you're going to buy anything for me. I bought something, I'm going to buy it for you.
Yeah, you're not
And this
doing it
is,
to win
yeah,
anything. You're not
I'm not
using
doing
it
to
to
win
try to say,
anything.
I bought you breakfast. Right?
Yeah, no. And, you know, it's always been a running joke with a lot of the people that I work with. I will buy anybody anything. And if they say, what do I owe you? It's just, no, I might need you one day, because I might need that person one day, but it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I bought you breakfast, I need you to buy me lunch. It's not that type of thing. But if that person thinks that way, they're going to automatically assume that. And when I made that comment, she insisted that she pay me.
See, because she didn't want, well, what does a thief fear the most? A thief.
Absolutely.
If they're suspicious of that, like in the group, I know I bring it up a lot, but they talk about, do they accuse you of cheating just because that's what they're doing? That's what my niece went through, that whole scenario. Yeah. And that's what they do. They if they're accusing you of something, chances are they're doing it. Projection too.
Absolutely.
But
And
we all
I'm
do
not
this. We all have
we
these
do.
elements because when you grow up, and we talked about this, you have either a narcissist and an empath,
or two narcissists.
but you learn to survive by not outwardly asking. You learn not to put to be covert. We do this too, but there are the ones that are very, very, we do this because we don't even realize it, but there are the ones that do realize it. And that's
they calculate it. Yeah.
They do realize and they know what they're doing. The ones, the empathic ones, we've just, like I said, it's become a survival technique, we've had to do it because that's what we learned. And now we know we don't have to do that. So
we're choosing to make the change.
Yes. And so, honesty with self, then you can be honest with others. And we'll talk about that on another show. But yeah, this is really great. Are there any other instances or scenarios that come to your mind with this coworker that you're like, wow, anything else you want to share that is come to you?
Oh, there's quite a few. But at this point, it becomes nitpicking on my end. Just because, I mean, there are so many things, but at the end of the day, I'm the type of person, you want to be an alpha, go right ahead, go be an alpha. I don't care. I'm going to sit over here and I'm going to do what I need to do. And it, in this situation, it's pretty much just one of those things that, because my bosses see it, they see it for exactly what it is, and they realize what's going on.
Oh,
And
well, that's helpful.
yeah, yeah, not going to go into a lot of detail on that one, but
Yeah, I
they see,
understand.
they see what's going on. And they realize that, I am trying, but they also realize that, I'm learning how to do my job, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and battle and bump horns with somebody that at the end of the day,
Yes.
5 years from now, what's going on with this person is not going to matter, to be honest with you.
And,
In
and
my
the other
life,
thing is with the covert narcissist is if they do get you engaging, they got you.
they've got me.
And with whatever it is they're doing, it's just with people like
Absolutely.
that, it's brevity, brief, to the point, and that's it. Because the minute they get you in, you're involved, and then they think it's okay. They're going to try to just get you into everything, in my
Absolutely.
experience.
And it's
Yeah.
just, it's one of those that it's not even worth it on my end to engage, simply because I know how this person works. I know what's going to happen if I do engage with this person.
Exactly.
So if I make a mistake, most of the time I'm like, well, made a mistake. All right, it won't happen again. At least not that way. I can't say there's not going to be another mistake I'm going to make somewhere, but at least that one's not going to have a mistake, but I mean, it's kind of funny. They expect perfection, and I say they, covert narcissists, expect perfection, not on their end, on the other person's end. And the moment you don't display perfection and you display humanity, oh, it's on like Donkey Kong, man.
They're angry.
They are.
Well, that's
And
what you said before. It struck a nerve.
Absolutely.
With your romantic partner, it struck a nerve, because you're like, I'm a truth speaker. I'm not playing no games. And they don't like that. Get really mad. They get really mad when you won't play. That's probably the thing that makes them the most angry, is when you don't play.
Another thing of it is, and this is another thing that just from being in this particular situation, this last few months that I've been in this situation with this coworker, the more they protest to something, the more it is that they're trying to convince themselves. They're at this point, they're not trying to convince you. They're trying to convince themselves.
Oh yeah, I see. And this kind of taps right into that article that you sent me about spiritual healers that claim they're this and that. Anybody emphatically telling you something about themselves is a liar. Because if you're something, you don't have to tell another person. You just are.
Absolutely.
Your actions are what says everything about you. And anybody that's just trying to tell you and sell you on something, definitely be guarded.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, when you sit here and approach somebody, oh, you seem like a real person, my immediate response is going, well, I'm not Pinocchio. I'm not Pinocchio. I mean, last I checked, I don't have any wooden parts. And by no means am I making fun of anybody who does use any type of wooden limbs. That's not what it is.
Oh, no. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
It's like, I'm not Pinocchio. What do you mean I'm a real person? And my response to that, well, I try to be, because I didn't know how else to respond. it's like,
Good. That's
you
perfect.
strike me as a real person. And I'm looking
What
around and I'm
I
going,
hope.
well, I
That's
hope I wasn't a test tube kid. I don't know. I mean, it's just the way my brain works, but it's like, what the heck kind of a question is that? What does
That's
it
funny.
matter?
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Yeah,
like, do
yeah.
you, but I knew what she was getting at. She was, I'm a person who speaks truth. And yes, I am. But I don't have to go and tell everybody that I do, because what I do shouldn't matter to anybody else.
Yes. Like
So
I have a friend who's amazing. Um and she is really something else. And I've been friends for a long time, but for the first couple of years, uh I never knew that she was a nuclear physicist and a professor at that. Never once she ever mentioned it. We talked about all kinds of things, And I had this gathering of girlfriends. I wanted them all to meet each other, and it was fabulous. They all shared things I had no idea, but that just was very impressive to me. She never mentioned one word of it. That's kind of a big deal, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I was very impressed, because most people, they'll tell you their credentials, and please don't get me wrong. It's like, be proud of what you're doing, and tell people what you're proud of. That's different,
yeah,
we know the
that's
difference. You know what I mean?
absolutely, it's absolutely true. But at the same time, you know, be careful of what you do share, simply
Yes.
because, and I'm going to say this, um, I didn't share that I had bought somebody's lunch in the McDonald's line behind me one day with her. I didn't share it with anybody. And the reason I didn't share it with anybody was because I wasn't doing it
To get
for
accolades, accolades. That's
yeah,
a wrong word, to get kudos or whatever.
yeah,
Or
I
accolades
wasn't
is
doing it.
another word
Yeah.
in another instance, but yeah,
I
exactly.
wasn't I did it for somebody because I had the ability to do it and I wanted to do it.
I think it was Jim Carrey that was showing a video of these people that were helping a homeless person. Yeah, I believe it was him. And they were on camera showing themselves helping this homeless person. And he got really mad. He's like, "Why are you doing that? First of all, they're on camera. It's hard enough for them to be in this position. And you're making it about you. You got to be on camera to see how magnanimous you are. Just help them. Why do you got to be televised?" You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? That's nope, not genuine to me. And it is
Absolutely.
right. Going
And
to them on camera, and they're on camera, and they're in a position like they are, is embarrassing to them. And I thought that was a great thing to say for him. I really
absolutely.
appreciated that. So
You
that ties in with what we're talking about. It made me think of that
and
scenario.
I didn't share it with her because she asked me what I did on my lunch. I did, well, I ate lunch with the kiddo. I did, but I
The
wasn't
thing
going to share
is,
that aspect.
yeah, I mean, and it's like, the more quiet you're going to be, she's going to keep trying to
Oh,
probe
absolutely.
and get
So
more information out of you.
I ate lunch with the kiddo. That's it. Because if I had shared with this person what I had done, I would have been bombarded with a whole bunch of questions.
Well, see,
And the
when you
plain and
meet
simple
somebody
fact,
that's talking smack about another person, that's who they are.
yeah,
They're going to do it
that's
with you.
exactly
It's a
who they
huge
are.
red flag, so "Oop,
Absolutely.
okay, I'm not going to tell you anything. Pretty soon all my neighbors will know, or all my coworkers will know."
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And
For sure.
it's, to come back to why I was saying it, you have, if you're a real person, what even is that? Um, to me, it just seems like you're a person who is truthful and you understand who you are. Doesn't mean that if you don't understand these things, you're not a real person. But that was just the first thing that came to my mind from her reactions, from what she had said. And we're all real people, every single one of us. Black, white, blue, red, green, we are all real people. So the fact that she asked me that question
Was very
was,
telling.
oh yeah, that was very telling.
People
And
say things and
you
they
know,
give themselves away,
absolutely. And
That's very,
you
very specific thing to say. Very,
you sit here and you can, I mean, if you're quiet, you can listen and you can hear a whole lot that they're telling you that they're not actually telling you. If you have a
and a
person who
line like
repeated,
that tells you a lot. If they're saying you seem like a
absolutely,
real person, interesting choice of.
or I don't do drama.
Oh yeah, and then if somebody's telling you I don't do this, chances are they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
If
mean,
you're and you don't have to tell somebody. If you don't do it, then why do you have to tell anyone? There's no need
yeah, right.
to tell anybody. But meanwhile, she's telling you we don't do drama. Well, she's talking smack about people in the office or family members or whatever. I could write a book about
Absolutely.
stuff. I should.
Absolutely. And it's legit. Brevity is
the soul of
best thing. Absolutely. It is the
That's
best
what my friend
thing.
Carrie says. Brevity is the soul of wit. And I forget where he got it from, a writer. He's an avid reader. And I get lots of cool nuggets from him. My friend Carrie is the one that prompted me to start this podcast, because we would have these kind of conversations. Like, people should be talking about this stuff. I mean, it's the stuff that we deal with every day. We should really be having the real conversations, and here we are. So thank you so much, Anna. I really just, everything you brought up today is powerful, and I would like to do some more. And definitely on the breaking down the covert narcissist behaviors. And I will be collecting some more examples. I'd like to do a second segment on this. I think
absolutely, I'm totally down.
We've covered the romantic partner. We've covered the work person. I think it would be good to cover more family experiences with family members.
Absolutely.
And other situations as well, where we deal with this type of behavior. And
absolutely,
how to get out of your own way. Once you know this stuff, you can navigate your life in a better, more positive direction.
I wish I'd have gotten out of my way years ago. I'm just saying.
Ditto. I'm 55, and not that I always say that. I'm sorry that there's no competition, and that sounds very measuring. But I think you know what I mean.
55. Yeah, you're 55. You've got years on me.
I feel like, but oh my gosh, I'm tired sometimes. Yeah.
Yes, but I'm very thankful to know you, because I have honestly learned so much from you.
And I really have learned so much from you. I don't have a child, and I'm not living with someone, a narcissist, someone that's a narcissist. And I'm learning all kinds of stuff from you. Thank you. I wouldn't have gotten this started without you. So, and it's immeasurable.
I appreciate that.
You're going to help a lot of people with this stuff that you're sharing.
If I just helped one person, that's all that matters.
Yeah. One person at a time, right? Yeah.
That's it. One person at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. This is great. I love the stuff. And again, I'd like to do another segment on this one.
Absolutely.
We'll make this number 1.
Absolutely.
And I may even put in the title. I'll put in the title the two types of relationships, so that people will know we're dealing with those two specifically in this particular podcast.
Yeah. We can absolutely do that. Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to it.
Yes,
it's coming up. Yeah. But thank you so much. I always walk away with, wow, that was really powerful, and I watch them afterwards so I can make more notes. And even afterwards, I'm even just, wow. And even now I've looked back at a few older ones and it's still, you get something new out of it, and I just love that. I love that we have
Absolutely.
these recorded so that, if somebody's not able to get to it right away, they can watch it in increments or whatever. And again, I'll say again, viewers, please feel free to hit me up if you'd like to join me here and do a podcast with me to talk about these issues. My door is always open. And yeah, so so you're up for doing another segment on
Absolutely.
these various issues with covert narcissism and breaking it down and what it really looks like in our daily living, daily experiences.
Absolutely.
So
I'm totally down because we need to get this out there so
yeah,
people
if
that
this is
want to
happening to
change can
you, you're
start
not
changing.
crazy.
Absolutely.
Yes, and there is
No, you're
another
not.
way.
There
And you
is.
can get out of your own way. Finally, right? I
Yes.
mean, and the great powerful
Absolutely.
thing, what we were saying before is, I might be 55 and you're, how old are you? 32?
I'm 33.
33. You're
33.
way ahead of the curve. Pat yourself on the back for being
Oh,
where
some
you
days I
are.
don't feel ahead of the curve, but I appreciate it.
Many people never get to this point. So this is huge. And yeah, I'm excited to see how this podcast grows and bringing more people on. I have a few
Absolutely.
uh, oars in the water as we speak. It's really exciting. So thank you so much. I can't
Thank
say
you
enough
for
how much
having
I
me.
appreciate you. Yay.
I appreciate you too. I'm so happy to be here.
Okay. All right, Anna. So until next time, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all again for watching. And again, if you know anyone, please hit me up. I have the channel on YouTube and I have a Facebook page as well and my personal page. Anyway, just hit me up and I'd be happy to talk to you. Until then, you guys, thank you so much. And I'll look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye-bye.